No one has to say why this place is special. It just is. The biggest race at the biggest place. A career-defining moment in the sim or in the real world. The month of May is the time for Indianapolis, but it'll be today, April 11th, 2021, for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series Catalyst 317 Triple Crown Indianapolis 500. Today we'll crown a winner after 200 laps around the Brickyard. Kyle Heyer and Finian DeCuna joining you tonight for the next round of the season. Finian, this is the biggest one of all, the Indianapolis 500, 200 laps, 500 miles to crown a winner, and this is not just any winner. This is double points. This is the big race, the one that everybody wants to win. Everyone's fine with having a terrible rest of the season if they can win today. And as we get prepared for our race this afternoon, of course, we're going to have our field already lined up by qualifying that happened earlier in the week. And on pole, we'll go over the entire starting lineup here on the pace laps. But Finian, oval kit, 200 laps worth of racing. Your thoughts on how this is going to go today?
It's going to be absolutely awesome to watch these guys just flying around this track, as you mentioned. You're not going to just be going 200 miles an hour on the track. You're going 230, probably even faster than that, up near 240 if these guys playing with inches. Been watching a bit of practice. Guys have been able to follow each other pretty close, so it's definitely going to be some exciting racing, especially on the starts and the restarts of this event.
Philip Kraus on the front row, the reigning champion of this series, is in command. The pace car is going to pull off. It's 200 laps, 500 miles here at Indianapolis in the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Kokomo, Indiana, and the Catalyst 317 Indy 500 is green. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Indianapolis. Philip Kraus leads the way down to turn number 1. Nito, Andreas Ike, Wood, Brophy, and Demerit. The top 5 heading through turn 1. Wilson Nito leads the way in that number 80. He's led 18 of the 29 laps that we've completed. Andreas Ike is in second. He has led 8 laps. Jason Brophy has led none, but is only a couple tenths of a second back, and he's peeling off pretty low here. Is he about to hit pit lane? No, he's going to stay out. Nito jumps on the binders. He's going to come down though. Oh, locked it up just a touch, but got down to pit speed. Do not give yourself a penalty, Finian. This field is far too good. If you get a penalty, your night's pretty much over.
Especially considering the fact, too, again, we've run very green, which I think is telling me that we're probably going to have, at the very least, we may not have a whole lot of cautions, but we definitely will have quite a few green flag runs. So, and if you do get a penalty, it's going to hurt you a lot. You're going to have to wait a while, or potentially not at all, for a caution to come out, and you're going to be very behind, as mentioned, considering how tight the field is. Speaking of which, now we're starting to see Blocker taking his time to strike, trying to head back up, and even Demerit too. He's kicked it into high gear, trying to make up some time and see some more drivers peel onto the pit lane. That's Ike and Wood.
Adam Blocker creeping into the picture here with Christopher Demerit in tow. Blocker's looking stronger and stronger as this race goes on, and I think once he gets past the 76 car, he might start to scrap. I just don't think that there's room for 3 at the front of the field here. I think you can really only do what Kraus and Nito are doing with 2 drivers. I think as soon as you add a third, it creates too much chaos.
Oh, caution out.
And it's Matt Hollaba in the 29th place 02 car. And luckily, I don't see a lot of damage on this car. We'll get our first caution.
Yeah, from the look of it, looks like it was a self-spin. Didn't hit anything, so.
Here's a look. Just going down the back straightaway towards turn number 3. Just turns off into the corner. And just gets loose. That's a weird place to get loose. Didn't even clip the inside apex or anything. Green flag back in the air. Wilson Nito continuing to do the slingshot maneuver around the inside of Philip Kraus, 227 miles an hour, and takes the lead back again. I'd love to know the number of lead changes tonight. I'm sure it's in the dozens by the time we're done with this.
Yeah, you guys have been swapping back and forth every single lap. I imagine, yeah, it's definitely probably faster. And almost close to probably the amount of laps we've run here. These guys have been constantly going back and forth on one another. They have Andreas like sitting back in third as Kraus is the one that leads that lap by just a nose over Nito. Yeah, I don't think it is, considering just the sheer amount of people that decided to stay out, and what we've seen for that first one, they're being able to work pretty well with those older tires. Should maybe be able to get maybe a position or two, because it is going to be worth something, probably, but though not as much as he would have hoped. I think it's still going to be an overall wash from after running to the top 5 all race.
Henry Bennett on Andrew Wood for 7th, couldn't get the job done. Christopher Demerit all over the back of Adam Blocker for 4th, also not able to complete a pass. Nito and Philip Kraus have had no problems at all. Duo.
Go back to Nito and Kraus, even in 31st place, swapping back and forth.
Oh my goodness. They found each other again. Oh, crash! David Adams, a hard crash on the back straightaway. Caution is out. That car is obliterated.
Yeah, curious how he ended up in that situation.
Wow.
That was a very violent crash.
Oh, all on his own. Lost control and slammed into the tires, and Matt Hollova right through the debris field. Made it through, but that was a big hit. Oh, man. Just the slightest slip here, and it doesn't overcorrect. He just lets it slide, but that inside wall attenuator collects him and just right across the racetrack. Debris scattering all over the place. It was actually past the camera there at the exit at turn number 2. But look at Evan Adams dodging parts and pieces. Let's ride on board here with Hollova and see what he saw off the cockpit of his IR-18.
I think what he saw was a heart attack, because he just saw the car explode right in front of him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Lap 68 of 200. About to get the green flag here for the Indianapolis 500 presented by Catalyst 317. There it is, green flag back in the air here from Indianapolis and the Brickyard. Cars out of line in the backdrop. Stepping out, Matt Pavelski, one of the drivers. It's a little bit thick back there traffic-wise. Pavelski to the inside of Tony Shalin, slides up. Riley Thompson, huge crash behind him. That's a car upside down. Is that Evan? Who is that? Is that Kingsbury? Yes, it is. Tumble over. No, it's Evan Adams. Nope, who is that? I cannot tell. It's Brian Carey. Blue and white car for sure. There it is. Man.
Violent crash up into the fence for Carey.
Whoa. Oh, man. And that looks so similar to the Scott Dixon crash from 2017. Wow. Watch this. He's gonna just get up on top and just launch skyward. How it all starts, I think there's a slide by the 25 to Kingsbury, then he makes contact, Carey does, and just gets torn up, and so does the 25 to Kingsbury, and man, what a mess that is.
Yeah, so what happened is he was trying to avoid Kingsbury spinning, tap the inside, I believe that's Joe Branch that he hit, and then went up in the air, it was already airborne by the time he got to Kingsbury, who he just launched up and over, and the car is absolutely getting destroyed. It looks like they were the only 2 cars involved, though. Surprisingly.
Just a hard impact. Happened so fast.
Ooh, also Chris Ko, I think that's something. Yeah, he also lost wheel, so he's also going to be retiring from this race.
Ray Kingsbury's on board. Wilsonino sizing up Kraus again for the top spot. Right behind him, Adam Blocker in the 74.
Yeah, Blocker actually had a really good run going, but actually decided to back out of it, just kind of sticking single file. I'm surprised he's been a little bit more aggressive in behind these guys, but just continuing to kind of poke his nose where he can.
Adam Crane up to 10th in the 34 car. We haven't really talked a whole bunch about him. He started 15th. Right behind him, though, Christopher Demerit side by side with Dakota DiCienzo scraping the wall down the front straightaway. Demerit fell back. After coming down pit lane a little before everybody else. Now side by side, there's AJ Burton in the 15 car. He's gone a whole lot of nowhere today, frustratingly. Pavelski moving forward with vengeance. Halfway through the Indianapolis 500 presented by Catalyst 317 for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series. Kyle Heyer alongside Vinny D'Acuna for the longest and most important race of the season. We are halfway through. Pavelski is halfway done with this race as well and has a little bit more work to do. Move forward and towards the top 10. Here's Andrew Wood all over the back of Henry Bennett. This 007 car has not been as strong as we've seen him in past seasons. But a win today would do him wonders for confidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's been running fairly well in this particular race. Again, he's not been too exciting of a driver to follow. He's been running just inside the top 10. It's kind of stay there throughout this race. So not a whole lot of action from the 007, but I think that's probably how he likes it. Again, got the first half underway. See Nito pulling off the pit lane as well. I'm not sure there was white and red car. That is Joe Branch.
Branch also going to hit.
Nope, that's not Joe Branch. Sorry, that was
Malechka in the 91.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. You know, some of these guys have cars that are better out and dirtier. Some of them better out in front. And Ike definitely looks like his car is better out towards the front of the field. He's just not been able to make anything work, and it's been working in the opposite direction for him.
Stouffer and Malechka in the 91. A little bit spicy at the exit of turn 2, and there's that 76 to the outside, the 144. Demerit slams the door shut decisively.
Yeah, you can see that he just didn't want to let any chance of him coming back. He slammed the door shut. Pavelski now using a great run out of turn 4, though. It's going to be a little bit tough because Ike's the right behind and the grass is going to be tucked up inside. He'll be able to make that stick, though, is going to be the big question here. Ike's not getting nearly as good of a run as you've seen other guys been able to just rip that outside lane. He's been able to at least stay alongside, but not as decisive as some other drivers.
75 laps to go next time by, and Vito Kraus blocker. Wow, do you see how close Wood got?
Oh, they're in contact with a driver up ahead.
Oh, right back across the road is Tony Showen. Hard in the wall, and the caution is out with 75 to go. Caught someone else involved in it too. That's Dakota DiCienzo, yes.
Yeah, that's how it started. It started the contact with DiCienzo and Demerit. Tony Showen was also picked up in the aftermath.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, no, it was Tony Showen, and it's Tony Showen that he picked up first.
Let's go back and have a look at how it started. There's the 144. Oh, Showen comes across the nose, gets into the fence. Goes back across the racetrack and then back up, and nothing DiCienzo could have done there. That's a shame. Not on board with 43. Man, that hurts. And for the 144, Christopher Demerit, he better, if he has any hope of finishing off the season on a high note, he's going to have to get back out there and repair that damage. I didn't really get a good look at how bad it was.
And again, they can go about 33, 34 laps. They're going to be short like about 3 laps, 3-4 laps.
Oh, blocker.
Oh.
Contact, and his teammate also got a piece of it. What happened?
Not sure what, but he actually went out of lane before. So Blocker's going to get a penalty, and Bennett, he's going to have to come down and fix that car.
Oh, man. That's catastrophic for the 007.
See, you don't normally see incidents on pit road, but...
No, that was a weird one, too. We'll go back and have a look. Blocker end up timing and scoring down in 16th place. Leaving pit road. We'll go back a little further to find out. Leaves his box.
Yeah, this is really weird. He leaves his box, he's going, slams on the brakes. Yeah, I'm not sure. I almost want to get it lended to like either equipment, like the brake disactivated on him or something. I don't see why he would have gotten on the brakes.
That is the weirdest thing I've seen in a while. Something had to be wrong there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no incentive for him to lose. It's not like we're doing double file restarts where it makes sense to be in a different lane.
Yeah, and also I don't think it would have slammed on the brakes that violently, so you just completely locked them up. So yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one, but he's gonna get a penalty. He's got a left rear.
That's the penalty, is the left rear tire being broken. That's gonna hurt him way more than any penalty would. And for the 007, even worse. And we gotta save a little fuel or come down a third time. Not sure what the strategy is gonna be. Does anyone pit right after the restart? Come on down and get a splash, or is it gonna be something else? Let's see. Green flag back in the air. Should also note that the attrition has started to mount a little bit. We're down to only 23 drivers on the lead lap. Now, in recent weeks, we've had incredible attrition rates. Start with 27 to 30 and then end up with 12 for 15 by the end of the race. Now, given Indianapolis' longer nature, the urgency hasn't been high. We've wrecked a pretty small number of cars tonight, but that number is growing pretty quickly.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see if that's going to continue to climb. Also, of note for Demerit, we didn't really point out, he was running ninth by the time the caution came out, taking out Bennett in Blocker's situation. He would have been up into 7th had he maintained position. He jumped up to 1st, and the reason being he only took fuel in that stop. Bought him another cut him 4 seconds compared to everyone else, and that's what he was
crashed Mike Kitchell hard on the back straightaway. Wow. Mike Kitchell, the Pennzoil car. That's total. And this looks really similar to the crash we saw earlier, the exit of turn 2. Let's go back and see how this all is. Probably a similar thing.
Oh no, this is not similar at all. I think he had hardware failure.
Oh man! Oh man! That is definitely a hardware failure. It just drove straight into the wall at the exit of turn 2. Oh, that is absolutely brutal. Is anybody planning on trying to make it? I'm sure there are, but it still seems like a pretty big reach. I think there's a lot more drivers that are banking on a caution flag to help them out.
I think that's what a lot of these guys up in the front are probably kind of keeping their fingers crossed and hoping for, just to reset everyone, because it's looking now lap after lap like they might be on the short end of the stick. Might have to come in a second time, and that's going to throw all the races out of whack with the way behind the leaders.
The problem with waiting for a caution is that they usually happen pretty late in the run when the tires start to burn off. So it's not like you can, expect to get one next lap. It's going to happen maybe 8 to 9 laps from now. We might have the risks start to increase as the tires begin to wear out and drivers start to make mistakes on them.
Pavelski looking a little bit racing behind once again past
Lechka. Oh, there he goes! Pavelski spins! Crashes!
Hard to the wall. Is he going to spin? It's going to be caution.
Wow, and that is not something that I expected to see. Matt Pavelski was one of my picks to win this race, and he's crashed. Well, there goes your strategy.
Yep.
That was a surprise. That all happened so fast. He was looking aggressive and maybe just lost patience here a bit, but looks to the inside and just has a lot of wheel in the car, and it just steps out, and he just can't unstick it into the fence.
Yeah, Kingsbury is pretty effectively in the draft of the guys up ahead, so you really can't get that extra draft. As Kingsbury's also closing in back on the top. Ooh. 2. Demerit running way out of lane.
Yeah, Nino ran up a little higher, and I think that kind of rattled Demerit because he wasn't able to get the downforce on the nose. That opens the door for Philip Kraus.
Aggressively works the inside lane. We see how the scene, quite a few guys hook it and spin, but Scar looking pretty good. There's Demerit pulling out a line, going to be side by side with Nito in turn 3.
I think there's no love lost between these two now. I think that was a little, Nito just ran up the racetrack to keep Demerit behind him, and that was probably a frustrating move from Demerit's perspective. They'll single file back out. Come on, guys, work together. We've still got a long way to go. Or just tear each other at the throat and wreck each other. That too.
I think Demerit's realizing he wants to try to get past Nito, because these guys, the top 3, they're going to have to come in on the next few laps. He's going to go back to Nito, but it's not even going to matter. Here comes Phil Krause back up to the front, and the Stunt Krause lovers are found.
Oh, they're going to crash.
Oh, no!
Oh, man. And Demerit and Nito, their heads get hot, and they crash. The Adam Blocker's involved. And that was all frustration boiling over there, Finian. Nito was holding up the 144 by running his lane, then let the 19 car by, and that's what caused that crash, and 2 of the strongest cars today are crashed. Yeah, Nito again, he picks a lane in front of the 144 to let the 19 car through.
Yeah, and then he didn't exit as high out of the corner, which I think caught Krause way off guard.
Yeah, I think that the 80 wanted to be behind the 19 so that when the driver's in front pit, he'd be in behind in the draft. I think that it was a strategy call here, but Demerit got stuck in behind. And then as Demerit comes off the corner, he drifts up and then he contacts the 80, and then they just get hooked together. What a mess. 2 of the strongest cars. This was a pretty unnecessary crash. Nito's really pedaling it to let this situation occur. Just get an onboard from Adam Crane, who got a pretty good view of this south of Hobart. Next time by will be 30 laps to go. Philip Krause in clean air all on his own.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Once Matt Kingsbury peels off, Ike is looking to be just outside the draft ring. So I'm going to see if he's going to still be able to catch back up to Krause. So Krause might be able to hold on to a lead by himself here.
$30 laps to go. Do we see it?
Almost saw one there. Sorry, Kingsbury had a little bit of a bobble as he was straddling the inside lane. Saw the car wiggle.
I love how you knew exactly what I was about to say. Are we going to see a caution before the end of this race, do you think? Oh, and as I say that, I hear a crash, and it's Andrew Wood.
Oh, no.
That is the ultimate commentator curse. I am so sorry.
Oh, man.
Wow. Andrew Wood, fresh out of the pits. Leaving. Whoa.
Oh, what? No, it's...
Wow. That was peculiar, to say the least.
Yeah. Huh. He had control of the car. I was just looking at myself. He just kind of... just mistimed it?
I mean...
There's really nothing more Phil Krause can do, really, than just keeping that inside line. That is going to be the best lane for him to be in. He's trying to make Kingsbury come up with something, some way to pass him.
Krause keeps going low. Kingsbury seems comfortable running up high. Which lane would you rather be in?
I'd definitely rather be low as much as possible, but that being said, being in behind, it gives Kingsbury an option to try to get a run out of the... I think his bet's going to be similar to Watkins, is trying to get a run out of that final corner. He worked pretty well in the backstretch. He usually out of turn 4. Didn't even have to pull back in behind for those slips. He's going to be out just about half a car length ahead at the line. That's all that matters.
Can he clear him, though? Not quite. Into turn 1. Still only about a foot between them. And also think about the limitations we have here at iRacing, Finney, the speed of light. How far away are Krause and Kingsbury in the real world? Is there a net code to worry about? The prediction code that iRacing uses to ensure that all the action is done in real time.
I would really hope not.
The slightest miscalculation of that code can lead to ghost contact that can end your race, and these guys are trusting it way too much, and a touch.
Oh. And Kingsbury also crashed out of turn 4, caution out.
And the two front runners collide. And with 13 laps to go, all of Philip Krause's work is going to go to waste. That car will limp back to pit road in pieces.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow as well.
Oh, let's just miss the start of this. Let's go back and see exactly how it all began. Now, he had just cleared the 21 into turn 4, and I think Kingsbury's just going to go. Yeah, this is on Kingsbury here, Finney. You just get in there and just took him out. And
yeah, there's not much of an argument there going the other way.
Yeah, it's a frustrating circumstance. Again, you have to be perfect to get through this without crashing, and for one moment, Kingsbury wasn't perfect. I mean, maybe you could argue that Krause left the door open, but no. I just don't think that there's a hole there, and that was, for me, that's on the 21.
I mean, the way IndyCar racing works, yes, there is a gap there, but you can't just throw it to the inside like that when you know someone's going to be there. This type of racing is so much off of predicting where the other car is going to be, and especially too, it's very tough. He just did not have enough of. If there was overlap, that would have been probably more on Krause, but well, he just kind of threw it in there.
The other thing is we still have 13 laps to go. If this was on the final lap, I sort of get it, but still, I mean, this is not the move that's going to win you the race, and I just think that was a poor choice of action there for the 21.
And just like that, another two race cars are going to be effectively taken out of the running.
Wow. And almost took out, was that Adam Dock there that he almost clobbered as well? Well, Tanner Watkins has put himself in position, and look who is
look at
here.
our top 3 now.
Wow, this is Tanner Watkins out front. Andreas Ike comes into the night as the points leader, and Riley Thompson. Man, this kid, he has not been much of a factor this season, and I didn't think he was going to be tonight, but my mistake, because look where he is running. Stouffer out of line on Adam Crane, that's for 4th.
Yeah, this is where you want to try to gain those resources, gain as many spots as you can. Stouffer just a little bit offset, not quite alongside Crane as he's trying to make that move for 4th place.
Door gets slammed, Crane hangs on. Up front, Andreas Ike with a big run. Gonna take it. Here he goes for the top spot.
That's exactly what we saw on the last run. Watkins is gonna slip back in his 2nd place. Will we see him actually make that run? We saw him slingshot back up in front, and then that was right before the caution came out.
Tanner Watkins
gonna stay in 2nd.
Size them up, 4 laps to go. The race will be over if the caution flag flies. Here comes Watkins. 4 laps to go.
The strategy looks like it's going to be just to try to slingshot back and forth.
What can Riley Thompson do, if anything?
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of out of ideas for him. I think he's also going to have to hope that these guys try to get side by side because he's a little bit far back at the moment. Not sure if he's going to be able to close it back up. These guys have run, well, the tires have lasted quite a bit. He's run a decent amount on them this run. So you can see if he can close back up and try to make himself present for 3rd.
Andreas Ike had to lift big time out of turn 4. He understeered massively. Now with 3 laps to go, look at Riley Thompson with a run. Ike's going to go to driver's right. Watkins goes to cover. I like how strong that 24 car looks, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, also of note too, track schools has been all day, 109 degrees on the track, so it's much grip as they're probably going to have the entire race.
Watkins looking so strong out front. Andreas Ike trying to close that gap up. He's going to close it, but he's not there to get overlapped just yet. But he could be timing this right now and experimenting with how big of a run he can get. How long do you have to wait? How much of a run do you have to build? And how far back do you have to lay back?
Yeah, I think that's probably what might be the thing he's going to settle on. You only have 2 more times to try this before you get the checkered flag. So he's going to try here, going to get a run, he's going to look up the inside, wasn't able to get it done, and it looks like he's going to stick in it. He's going to clear him by the time he gets turn 1.
So now if Watkins slides on back coming to the white, that's going to leave Andreas Ike in a position to do it on the final lap, but that's anticipating Watkins doing exactly what Ike just did. So maybe Watkins is going to sit here and try to make the move on the last lap himself. Here he comes.
He's got a big run. He's going to go for it to the inside of 3.
I like this. Watkins is not trying to play some crazy strategy. He's just going for the win, and he's in command. Goes to the top spot again. Ike to 2nd. Riley Thompson waiting in 3rd place. Ike Sizing up that outside groove, though, this time through. It's 2.5 miles left around the Brickyard. White flag in the Indianapolis 500, presented by the Catalyst 317. Watkins on the outside, Ike to the inside.
Have to see that worked well in Watkins' favor. He was clear of Ike by 15 thousandths of a second.
Here we go, last time down the back straight. Ike leads the way. Watkins is going to build a run. Can Ike defend from it? I don't think so. Here comes Watkins. He's going to go to the right.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I haven't seen him try to go to the outside. Let's see if he can work side by side in 3 and 4.
Coming back to the checkered flag. 500 miles is almost complete here at Indianapolis. Ike on the inside lane. Watkins on the outside. Drag race back to the checkers. Side by side to the line. Ike, Watkins, Tanner Watkins just is going to edge out. Does he get it?
Wow, by 1,000th of a second.
Tanner Watkins wins the Indianapolis 500 presented by Catalyst 317 by 1,000th of a second.
Whew.
Man, he
We
did
don't
that.
have zeros on the scoreboard to show it.
He did that perfectly. We will go back and show you in replays how close that was. That was too close to call. 1,000th of a second. Tanner Watkins gets his first victory on the season, his first ever. Indy Elite Series Indy 500. And how perfect was that? He went to the outside fin, and I thought that was going to be the end of it. It was not.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that. I thought that might have been a bad call, but it worked out barely. But it worked out.